So, when we left off, you guys had taken the contract from Orsi over at one of the northern caravansaries, and you made your way through some backwoods areas on your way to deliver this box full of spell components to the wizard Tauster, who lives in a small village called Thurmaster. And in order to get there, you first had to make a pit stop. Well, you don't have to stop there, but it's along the way of the town Milborne. Probably a good place to stop, get a rest, sleep in a bed instead of on the rocks for a little while, which is another small backwoods little community, fairly insular along the Churnet River. On your way there, you had unfortunately been accosted by a group of bandits. Those bandits wanted to kidnap the spellcasters or take them out first. We don't know which, but they were definitely singling you guys out who could cast spells. And after the end of a fight, you had managed to subdue them, some of them. Some of them ended up dying, but you subdued a few of them, tied them up, and left them in the woods after a brief interrogation session, hoping to go to Milborne, inform the authorities, and have them go and collect the ruffians. Kildirk may or may not have done something slightly shady when other people weren't watching, but you don't know that. You made your way from there into Milborne, which is a small little town. Like I said last time, what we will do is I will activate Milborne. You guys came in from this area. Oh, wait. Let's pull you to the scene. Pull user to scene. All right. So you came in right around here. This was the road you guys took to get into town. You don't have the names of all these places yet, but I don't have a map that doesn't have names. So please ignore the names for at least a little while. You managed to talk to a couple of the townsfolk who were milling about, and somebody, I can't remember who, asked about who passes for an authority here, a constable or a sheriff. And it was mentioned that that would be Garland, the carpenter / ranger who has residence here in town. And they pointed you in the general direction of where you can find him. And that's where we left off.
Yeah, that was that was me, Kildirk, who asked about the constable, and I am currently making all haste to get to the constable because even though I may or may not have done something shady, I definitely don't want people to die in the woods. So I want to let them know that there are, in fact, banditos tied to the tree.
Okay.
I'll go along with you. Just corroboration. Plus, makes it easier on Eric.
Okay. Kara?
Yep, I'll head on with them.
All right. So you guys head up into where is the carpenter? He's up in the northeastern part of town over here. So you make your little way up that way, asking people as you go along. And this is, for all intents and purposes, as you're walking through town, you're getting the feeling that, yeah, you were told correctly. This is a small town. All the buildings, for the most part, are made out of decent wood construction. Some have thatch roofs. Some of them have tiled roofs made with either shale or some kind of clay. The only stone buildings that you've seen so far have been an old granary and the blacksmith. But you make it up into Garland's carpentry office. Well, this is where he sets up shop, at least. He makes homemade furniture out of the wood in the area, which is decent quality. Definitely, you've seen better, but this is the work of a craftsman who's making furniture for frontiersmen, not for courts or fancy houses. He's sitting in the chair on the porch. You can see who definitely has to be Garland. He fits the description. He's an older man, about 50-ish, human-looking, and he sees you guys walking up to the porch. What do you guys say?
We're Garland.
Yeah, that's me.
Hello, Garland. We were informed that you were law enforcement in the area. Is that accurate?
About as close as we get to one here. We don't have a standing militia. We tend to round one up
Hey,
as
that's
necessary.
great. I'm glad to hear it. We were accosted in the wilds, and I kind of point back in the general direction, by some rather ill-disposed folk. Point out some of my blood stains on my clothes. Some of us made it out better than others, but they're still they're alive and well for the most part, but they are quite possibly tied to a tree, and I think it would be best if humanity got to them before bears. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Huh. Banditry isn't something we normally have in this area. Sorry that happened to you. Well, yeah, I can definitely round a couple of the townsfolk. We can go pick them up and get them at least into custody here for a quick trial. You said out to which direction? Along what road?
I look over to my companions. What was the name of that road we were just on?
Do we know the name of the road we were just on?
As close as you could get to a name would be it's the road that follows the Churnet River.
Yeah, okay. The road that follows the river, the Churnet here, is the compass direction accurate? Because we
Yes.
came from the west, if that's the case.
Yep.
So we were coming from the west.
Okay, the West Road. Yeah, I'll get a couple people, couple of the guys to go round them up. Are you gonna be staying in town long? In case we got questions.
Well, I probably should rest up a bit before we carry on. Kind of feeling a little
I
wear.
would be averse to that.
Well,
I think we might be looking for rooms at the inn, perhaps.
I think that would be a safe assumption. You don't have any spellcasters here in town, do you?
closest we got in town here as far as spellcasters would go is going to be Sam Hess over at the temple. And he points
Okay.
just like that, and you can see over the roof and a couple of trees a stone I don't want to say tower, but it's a large temple structure looming over the tree line.
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful with those guys. They seem to have a particular penchant against spellcasters right now. Don't know why, but they sure do.
Well, Sam Hess is just a lowly cleric of justice, and he's not what we would say is a spell caster of sorts, but he can throw a spell, or he can do a healing incantation or two when necessary. But if you're going to be staying in town, the best place you're going to want to look at is going to be Baron of Mutton. It's going to be just south of here. If you hit the warehouses and the water, you went a little too far. But it's right. The smithy's right across the street from it. You should know. You'll be able to find it really easy.
Thank you much, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And he stands up, and you notice he's about 6 feet tall. He's got this big, shaggy mop of salt and pepper hair. And when he gets up, these two massive, like, retriever mastiff crossbreed looking dogs stand up. They appear to have been sleeping underneath the porch, and they follow him into his offices. He's walking with a slight limp. He's got a message from Changeling. Not Changeling, from... I'm looking at Changeling's name. From Dragon.
Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read that real quick. All right, he's not going to be making it this session. Mm-hmm. Easy peasy. Okay. So he heads into his offices to presumably get ready to go head out and untie and bring in the bandits from the road.
Well, do you guys want to get on to the Baron of Mutton, get some rooms, or is there some town you'd like to do first?
Well, this place is all with the hustle and the bustle. So there's so much to get into. I think maybe the Baron of Mutton might be low on our priorities, but maybe it's the way to go for now, just to get our bearings in this cosmopolitan area that we find ourselves.
Oh, positively. I bet they even knock the mud off their boots before they walk inside.
Whoa. Let's not go too far.
So I'm going to head towards the Baron of Mutton,
Okay.
if you guys would like to come with me.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Keeping an eye peeled for any open second story windows that might need greasing later.
Okay. So for continuity's sake, because I did do a little bit of this scene at the end of the first session, we're going to say that Dragon's character and Zach's character, Lemphier and Deck, were the ones who had went to the Baron of Mutton and witnessed that. So we can redo that scene at this point in time. So a little bit of retconning to make things flow a little bit better. You guys find the Baron of Mutton quite easily. There's only a few dozen buildings in this town. Your best guess is there's probably no more than 200 people that call this place home. The more time you spend here, which is very little so far, but you're getting the distinct feeling this is definitely a small backwater. You open up the door, and there is already... There is a little bit of a hustle, bustle, and commotion going on the inside. There's two younger men, probably in their early mid-20s in there. One of them appears to be working, and another one is having I don't want to say an argument, but a spirited interaction with a middle-aged man. And it's going something like this. I don't know where she is. She never leaves without saying goodbye. She wasn't supposed to be heading back down to Towster for at least another week. And, this is very unlike her. And the middle-aged man is replying back to him when he can get a word in edgewise, going, you know how wizards can be. She's his apprentice. He gets very particular. He might have summoned her to come down a little bit early. Maybe she went out to go get spell components. This isn't the first time she's just disappeared and, come back a week or two later. These things happen. And it's a spirited debate going back and forth on why she wouldn't have left without telling him, and this other guy trying to console this youth on, this has happened before. You say it hasn't, but come on, you remember this one time. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that time doesn't count. You're being overprotective. You're kind of freaking out here, son. You need to relax a little bit. And this is going on back and forth as you walk in, and you see off in the corner, working at the counter, there's a a middle-aged woman who's bringing out food to some of the guests that are here. These are bargemen and different river rats, people who work the rivers, bringing merchandise up and down them on the barges or to small craft. She's bringing out drinks and food, which actually smells pretty good. Like you wouldn't have thought that the smells of the food would be this good in this small of a town. And behind her, sitting in a chair, is this, wrinkled old man. You look at him and you're like, whoa, he old. Your best guess is in his 80s or 90s. He is just a wrinkled mass of skin, bones, and gray hair that's sparsely populating the top of his head.
Okay. All right. And we overhear does the young man look visibly distraught, or is it just like we can kind of pick up that he's going through something right now through tone of voice?
Oh no, he looks visibly distraught, and even with the minor commotion, there's probably about 15 or 20 people in this place besides the young man and the middle-aged guy that he's talking to. You can hear it quite plainly and see it quite easily. Like this is he's distraught. There is a problem here.
I call attention to Marin and Bran. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Spot
call
on.
attention to the guy. I'm like, hey, something's going on with him. I heard him mention, or the other guy, one of them mentioned Houster. That's our contact in Thurmaster. Why don't y'all go see what you can find out? Do you want me to go ahead and get rooms for everybody? And if so, should this come out of the party fund?
I would assume this would come out of the party fund because it's rooms for everyone.
You do a room, yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So
You mind
y'all
going
go figure
over
out
with
what's
me,
going
miss?
on.
Yep. Let's head over.
All right. We'll head over to the distraught young man.
Okay.
So Marin, on our way over, I'm gonna tell you, something's clicking on this.
Mm-hmm.
His betrothed is an apprentice spellcaster,
Yes.
and
I
those
picked up
bandits
on
were
that
looking
too.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we can find out. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Excuse me, young man.
Yeah. Excuse me. Who are you?
New to town. I heard you were having some problems. Were the betrothed gone missing?
Yeah. If you're new to town, you may not know her, but yes, Jelenth. She's we've been courting for the season, and she's not here. This is just very unlike her. She left. She didn't leave a note. She didn't tell me anything. She just up and left.
Couldn't help but overhear. She's apprenticed to a wizard.
Yeah, she's the only apprentice to the wizard Tauster. He lives in the next village over down the river, Thurmaster.
I see. And then, being an apprentice, of course, she was also learning some spellcasting herself.
She was learning. She had a couple spells down really well, and a couple of the other ones would backfire in funny ways when she tried to cast them. But she was learning.
I see.
Was she on her way to see him in Thurmaster, do you know? Or did you just wake up and she was missing?
Well, I was home, and I woke up, and I came here to talk to her, and she just wasn't here. She's not supposed to go back down there for another 2 weeks. She's supposed to be here for at least through the next 2 weeks.
Is there any other places she frequents here in town? I mean,
No,
any specific shops or no?
no. Her family owns the Baron of Mutton. That's her grandfather over in the corner, Caster,
Oh,
and this is her father, Haldren, and her mother over there's Parlena. She's usually here helping out with the inn while she's in town.
I see. Do you mind if we talk to her mom and dad about this, or will that cause problems for you?
Haldren's standing right there with him, and he's like, "You can talk to me all you want, and trust me, I'm concerned. I'm not discounting Bartholomew's concern here, but this isn't the first time she's gone down there and without really telling anybody. And you know how wizards can be when they want their apprentice, and they send for them. She had to fight really hard to get Towster to take her on. She begged him for years. So I think she might have just headed down early. I've sent word with one of the rivermen here. He's going to be leaving later tonight with a message to go check in with Towster, but Bartholomew here is obviously a lot more concerned, and like I said, I understand they've been courting for the season. They do plan on getting married, but this isn't unheard of. This has happened, and
Young man, did you two have plans coming up soon or anything like that, or
just the normal things that we do. We were going to go out for a walk through the moors, or down the road by the moors, I should say. Grab, have picnics, talk, and just kind of be together until she had to go down to Towster to continue her studies.
do I know how far away Thurmaster is?
Oh, kind of yes, kind of no. Let me do a quick. So it is 1, 2, 3. It's about 40-ish miles from here. However, that would get described in in-game terms. 4 days. Yeah, you figure that the average adventuring party travels 12 miles in a day.
Yeah.
So roughly 4 days worth of walking to get down there.
Yeah.
So if she left last night,
right,
she's got a day ahead of everybody. And if it's going to be quicker to go by barge, but that's taking the waterway.
Yeah, that's a little more of a haul than I had thought. If it was shorter than that, maybe I could have gone on foot and tried to catch up with her. But with that kind of a lead and that far of a distance, not without a horse.
Yeah.
But not knowing this land, I don't want to risk a horse.
Yeah. And that is the town is where you do need to go to deliver the chest.
That's what I was just thinking too.
Mm-hmm.
We are heading in that direction. If we can at least keep our eye open for her, but not sure that won't really help, as we can't really send word back to you as easily, I suppose.
I'll tell you what, young man, do you know how to read and write?
Jelenth's been teaching me this, yes. I'm not very good at it, but I can do a little bit of reading and writing.
It's okay. Why don't you write her a note, and we'll take it with us, and we'll give it to her when we find her.
Okay. So you'll go look for her, you said?
When we go down to Thurmaster, we'll look for her.
Okay. Here's what I'll do. I'll pay for your rooms for the night with Haldra here. And we'll get you set up with some good. I'll get you set up with some good food here too. I really, really appreciate it. I can't afford more than one night, but I very much
I don't
appreciate
expect you to
this.
pay for one night.
And,
I don't expect you to pay for one night, but thank you, young man.
yeah. So
Very kind.
he scurries off, and Haldren looks at you and goes, "Look, I'm not going to take his money. I'll give you guys the room for one night as payment for working as a messenger for messaging services. If it puts him at ease, it'll also put us at ease as well. Because, like I said, it's not this has happened before, but it is a little concerning, to say the least. You know,
Sorts for her. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for. I got a weird feeling about this, Marin.
Yes, I do too.
Well, at the very least, we can get some food, get a night's rest, and get on the road tomorrow.
Exactly. No sense in rushing things.
Mm.
If we're going to run into trouble, I'd rather be rested for it.
Especially after as bad as the last trouble was. That hurt.
Mhm.
Okay. Healing. If anybody took damage in the combat last, you get a whopping 2 HP back for a single day's worth of rest.
Woohoo!
So that'll be like in the morning. We'll have 2 more.
In the morning, you'll have 2 more hit points than you had the night before. Coming from... That's one thing. So I said as we go along, for people who've played 5th edition and have not played 2nd, I will call out those culture shock moments. One of them to be aware of is there is no concept of long or short rests in 2nd edition. There is just resting.
Yeah.
And under normal circumstances, you heal and you're not really doing much. You know, you're just kind of relaxing. You're going to heal 2 hit points per day. Of course, spells can quicken that. But you rest, you wake up to the rooster crowing somewhere loudly and badly. This is probably an old rooster. It's got a little bit of a wisp to its crow. And it is early. You guys, the rooms that Haldren set you up with were actually some of the nice rooms in this place. There were a couple different ways that you could, a couple different options for sleeping here. You have the communal room downstairs, which is a little more than a dormitory that sleeps 12 people. Then there are some paired rooms, 2 beds in them. These are slightly better. And then there are the individual single rooms. And you were set up with the individual single rooms, which come with a nice breakfast, actually, which Parlena is bringing out of the kitchen area as you make your way downstairs, and it smells good. On the tray, you see these short loaves of bread, and they're cut down the middle, and jammed inside of them is bacon, a little block of butter. There's some fresh-looking greens, an egg, and a short beer and a water on the tray for each meal. And you can see the steam coming up off this food. It is hot and ready to eat.
This is a nice breakfast. Sure beats rations. All right. Are we like all meeting together for breakfast, or guys?
Probably, yes. Now, one thing I want to say, would it be possible that last night before we fell asleep, I was able to determine if Jelenth has a room here, or did he stay somewhere else?
Yes. So anything you wanted to do the night before, we can rewind and do that as well. Jelenth did have a room here. Yes, she did.
Okay. And is that room locked?
Well, it's normally locked, yes, but
Okay. Would there be?
sorry.
I was gonna say, would there be any way that by asking we would have been able to gain access just to try to see if she had left any other hints or clues as to where she may be before we set off, on a wild goose chase in Thurmaster, a town that we don't know?
Yeah, Halder will definitely give you access to the room to do a little bit of investigating.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe before sleep. Well, depending on what time of day it was. If it was dark, then of course we could wait till daytime and do it now.
It's early
Yeah, let's
afternoon.
let's do that.
Okay, let's say
Yeah,
that
let's do that.
let's say that you did it. You're doing that this morning because you arrived. It was kind of
Yeah.
late in the afternoon, early evening by the time you made it into the Baron of Mutton last night.
Yeah, and I was super hurt. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. This morning is better.
Okay.
So yeah,
Mhm.
let's eat our breakfast and then let's go check on this Jelenth. Let's see what's going on in her room. What do you think? So, what do you guys think? Is she like? Do you think she ran afoul of the bandits or like what?
We don't have a whole lot to go on, but given what we learned on the road, it's the most likely thing going through my mind.
Yeah.
Or
If there are people out there attacking magic users and she's a magic user, it's possible.
the other thing is let's admit it, that guy's awful damn clingy. She may have just wanted to get the hell out of town for a while.
Entirely possible.
Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't track.
Either way, I kind of feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, for sure. Did anybody talk to the grandpa last night? Because I know I didn't. I was out.
No, not at all.
No.
Is he around here? Or is he like still sitting in his rocking chair in the corner?
Yeah, you can see him. He's all skin and bones, standing up over by the counter, and he's just wiping things down as best he can with this old rag. And he's there, and he's old.
I bring him my breakfast short beer, and I hand it to him. I appreciate all of your hospitality.
What?
I unfortunately don't imbibe, so I was wondering maybe with your granddaughter, kind of in the wind, maybe this could help you out some.
What? Sonny, you're out to speak into my good ear.
Oh, so I go to the other side and I shout as loudly as possible, without being obnoxious, and say the exact same thing. I thought you might want a beer.
You didn't need to yell. I just need you to talk into the good ear. And he grabs the beer, and he just like tilts his head back, and it's just gone in a single swallow. And he goes, breakfast of champions. What do you need again?
I was wondering if you have any insight into where your granddaughter may be, or what she was doing if she was trying to get involved with anything when she was talking to this Towster person.
Oh, she probably headed back down to Towster. He's a wizard. She's his apprentice.
Yes. That is what I needed to know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I walk over back to the party. Yeah. So
How'd that work out for you?
worked out great. I found out that he is apprenticed to a wizard named Kuiper.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's probably where she went. And also beer is the breakfast of champions.
I mean, it is.
I'm partial to the bacon.
Everything is quite delicious.
When you look back,
Even though the water looks like it was pulled up a muddy bank. I don't know.
you look back, and you can see he's still talking to where you used to be. And it's all just kind of useless town trivia nonsense. Like he's just reminiscing about the good old days when he used to have a musician that came here and played music like 40 years ago. And Parlena walks over and, Dad, they're not here anymore. What? Who's not here? And he just kind of like huffs, puffs, and moans and moves his way back to his rocking chair.
I like that.
Oh my. That old man is a treasure.
Yes.
He's my new best friend.
All right.
So I say we finish up our breakfast and go check out the Jelenth's room. Yeah. What do you think about
Sure.
that? Good plan.
That sounds
You
good.
can. Yeah.
Nefarious activities are afoot. A time to shine.
Your breakfast goes by pretty uneventfully. You see some people coming out of the dormitory rooms. They don't get quite as nice of a breakfast, but it's not bad looking either. It's just, it looks like they're getting yesterday's loaf of bread, and the bacon's a little more fatty that they're getting. You're getting the good meaty stuff. They're getting kind of the cheaper day-old bread and fatty sections of the bacon, but still smells good. And if it tasted this good today, it probably tastes pretty good the next day as well. But yeah, breakfast goes by pretty easily. Halder gives you the key to Jelenth's room. He tells you which door it is upstairs, and he goes about his business setting up this greeting room, or I don't really know what is it? What is that called? It's basically it's like a dining room.
Common room?
Yeah, the common room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on our way to Jelenth's room, I stopped by our room and see if that key locks and unlocks our door as well.
It does not. The door locks appear to be unique.
Ooh.
Ah, dang it. Well, there goes my plan. All right, well, then straight to Jelenth's room we go. Unlock the door.
It looks pretty similar to your room, at least in layout. Different set of sheets. You can tell that she probably bought these special order just for herself. It's got some furniture in there, like a dresser, a small desk, and it's neat. Like it's clean. The bed's been made. It's a nice looking room. Pretty similar to what you got, but a little bit nicer, a little more homey.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a dresser, a desk, a bed. Is there a rug?
You know what? Let's throw a small rug in there too.
Okay. All right. So, which one of you two can read?
I can.
All right, excellent. Look for any papers or anything that you can understand. That's first.
Sure.
Bran, I'm gonna need you
Mm-hmm.
to lift up the bed maybe a little bit, see if there's anything hidden under there, anything under the mattress. I need you to check there. I immediately flip the rug up to look and see if there's like any like hidden door underneath the rug, like a little loose board or something. And proceed to start looking through the dressers as well.
Okay.
So wait, we're tossing her room?
Well, let's put things
Yes.
back nicely.
Of course. Leave no trace,
All right then.
he says with a grin.
I will check the desk for papers that are written in common because that is the only language I can read.
Any papers may be useful. I have a keen eye for these kind of things.
I see. But you can't
All right
read.
then.
Okay.
Just because I can't read doesn't mean that I don't know the basics.
Right, but we're not taking her stuff. We're just looking for clues.
We're not taking anything. For all we know, she's already dead. So we could, and if we find her, then she might want some of the stuff. You never know. We just need to
Yeah,
keep an open mind.
No.
I'm not taking anything of hers,
Agreed.
but I'll look for clues as to where she's at.
Yep.
Now you're following. We're not robbing anyone. I'm robbing people, but not really robbing. It's not robbery. It's liberation. All right. So yeah, proceed to start going through things.
My last
Anything
word
that-
as I start looking under the bed is, what color is the sky in your world?
Kind of I don't know, what time of day is it? Because that really depends. On there's a lot of factors. When the sun's kind of low, there's pinks, and there's blues, but then sometimes it can also be that like really pretty orange. Then of course at night it's deep black.
Eric, do I find anything under the bed?
Oh, the thief is thieving. Yeah, actually, you do. Under the bed, you find a small pouch of what looks to be her spell components.
Oh. This is odd. Why would she go see her master without her spell components?
Now that is odd. We should bring those with us in case we run into her. Those are probably components to things that she knows very intimately. So she'll need those if we find her. See, I'm not bad.
Anything in the
I'm
desk?
just going to look at you. Yeah. Anything in the desk?
In the desk, there's some just, she's got some letters that she was in writing exercises. She was working with Bart to get his reading and writing down. Some doodles and just general little scratchings on paper. Nothing substantial, just personal little notes to like to-do lists, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just everyday
Anything
things.
of note anything of note in that dresser?
Just some clothes. Nothing of note, just a couple changes of clothes.
Is the dresser relatively full? Does it look like somebody has taken their belongings? Is there like a backpack around here? Something that would hint that this person left.
No, it looks like it's fairly well stocked. It's not like half empty or anything, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Yeah, or like gone for an extended trip or something.
Yeah. No,
okay.
Nothing like that.
This is not adding up right.
Right. As much as I would normally say we shouldn't remove anything, I actually tend to agree with our friend here that taking her spell components to her might be helpful. And that it's odd that she left without them.
It is.
Why don't you take them, Marin?
Okay. I'll hold on to them.
That's a good idea. Any pictures on the wall?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Is there a window?
There is a window.
Is that window locked or unlocked?
The window is unlocked and open.
Unlocked and open. Now, when we went to our room last night, was the window closed?
Unlocked and open.
Was it open? Unlocked and open. Okay, so not uncommon.
No.
Is there a balcony of any sort?
Negative.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we didn't find any. We didn't find any notes, letters, anything like that, Eric.
No, I mean you find like I said, you'll find several letters that badly written in terrible penmanship from Bart. that he wrote to Jelenth. Some writing exercises she was doing with him to teach him reading and writing, but nothing would be pertinent to the investigation.
Okay.
But there's plenty of writings in here and notes. Yes.
Okay, so what do we know, team? What do we know?
I'm not sure what we know. We have a lot of speculation, is what we have.
No,
Mhm.
we know that there's a wizard who left unprepared. That is not
Mhm.
wizardly. So we know that something is wrong. We also
It seems that way.
know that it looks like this person who left did not take enough belongings for a minimum of a 4-day trip. So we know that. Unprepared twice. This is not what I would expect from a wizard's apprentice.
Especially one who keeps as neat of a room as this.
Huh?
Fair enough.
And normally I'd worry about her running to try to get away from him, but all of her things are here. She took nothing dear to her, nothing sacred, nothing. So I think we can cross off her trying to get away from him.
I don't think she'd be teaching him to read if she wanted to get away.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right on that one. Now, I think we should keep what we know. We should keep that away from the boyfriend and maybe even the father. But I think we should
Yeah.
tell the mother what we found and also tell her that we are bringing her spell components with us in case we find her.
And if we don't run
Not
into
a
her,
bad
we can
idea.
leave them with Towster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, women tend to handle news like this better than men.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. So you head downstairs, I'm assuming. Parlena's usually around the kitchen in the common room area. She's the main cook for the place, and baker. She makes the breads. So she's fairly easy to find. Are you guys gonna go into like a thing with her, or are you just gonna drop the information off with her and then head out?
I mean, I'm cool just dropping information. It's up to
Yeah,
up
I'm
to you
fine with
guys.
that too.
Okay.
That's fine.
Same here.
So she takes it about as well as you can assume. She's bothered that Jelenth left, but she's still not thinking anything, of it.
Okay.
Right. So she thanks you, lets you know the best way to get out of town and onto the road to head down to Thurmaster, of which we are going to switch over to a different map. Yay!
Ooh.
This is the black and white of the area. Now, you're not going to have all the names for this stuff, so please don't metagame the names. But you are... Okay, you are here. You know where you are. And you were told that you got to follow the Churnet River, which goes based on what you were told to by Orsi in the beginning, through the Redwood, and you'll eventually end up at Thurmaster. And as you can see, the scale there for 0 to 10 miles, it's roughly 10. It's roughly 3.5 days to get down there. Yeah, it's 2.5 days there. Yeah, 3 days. Roughly a 3-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the starting town where we met Bob the Trader?
Trader Bob. You didn't meet him in a town. You guys were at a caravanserai.
Okay.
I don't know what town you guys met up with him and traveled with him to the caravanserai. We can give that a name of...
Unimportant. It's not this Harleton place, right?
No, it wasn't there. Negative. No, you guys,
Okay,
you came
I was
from.
just curious.
Yeah, no, you came from like off map, this direction.
On the Turnet.
Yeah, you followed You follow this
Okay.
river to Milborne.
Okay.
Actually, this is the road. My bad. You followed this road
Okay.
to Milborne, past the Lurchwood.
Gotcha.
Okay. This is going to be a very uneventful 3.5, close to 4 days of walking and camping along the Churnet River. It's not a dangerous river by any means. It's actually pretty steadily flowing and slowly flowing. Barges seem to be the main way people go up and down it. You see one on your second day of travel. It's a decent sized barge, and it's got some people headed down with some barrels and big boxes heading down the river. They seem to be nice enough. They wave at you as you're walking by. You hear local songbirds going. The most exciting thing that you see during these 4 days is a deer that kind of crashes out in the woods in front of you because it was running through, stops, stares at you because you scared it because it wasn't expecting you to be there, kind of does a double take and runs back the way that it came from. That's as exciting as it gets these 4 days. And
If I'd have been on a coach, then we would have crashed right into that thing.
yes, yes. If you guys were, barreling through and on a wagon or on horseback, you might have smacked it. It would have been like car meets deer on the Jersey Shore.
Those menaces.
Oh God, those white-tailed deer! I lost a car to them. But you make it into Thurmaster in the early evening. You make your way into town. The sky is just beginning to darken, and you are going to be coming into town here. If Milborne was a backwater, Thurmaster is the backwater's backwater. It's got a palisade wall going around the entirety of town with a wooden gate, one person manning it, and he looks like the boredest of bored town guards that you've ever seen, if you can even call this guy a town guard. He's just some middle-aged guy slumped over in his chair, watching people, watching the gate to see if anybody's coming up. As you approach, he goes, "Welcome to Thurmaster. Won't cause no trouble. Won't be no trouble. Welcome to Thurmaster. Won't cause no trouble. Won't be no trouble." He kind of gives you vibes of the Costco greeter from Idiocracy. "Welcome to Costco, I love you." "Welcome to Costco, I love you." Like, he kind of gives you those vibes. Yeah, like I said, if Milborne was the backwater, this is what Milborne considers backwater.
Lovely. We've come to the backwater's backwater.
Oh, I slide out 2 silver pieces and I hand it to the guard. And I just ask him, kind of on the down low. So, if there were trouble here, what would it be and where would we find it?
Ain't no trouble in Thurmaster. Although, sometimes the river guys, they get a little too much to drink and, they get into fist fights over at the tavern. It's about as...
Hey, you know the young lady Jelenth?
Jelenth. She's Towster's apprentice. And he points over.
Seen her lately?
No, I haven't.
That big.
But he points behind him, and it's like the only stone structure is this looming tower. Towster would know, right? Yeah, Towster would know. Mm-hmm. That's her master. She's the apprentice.
Point over there to the northeast, those abandoned buildings. What's going on with those over there?
Oh, people, they moved out and nobody moved in, and they just kind of fell into disuse.
Oh.
We got a few of them here.
How long ago did they move out?
Oh, many years ago, probably 5-10 years ago.
I gotta get a smirk. So, who wants to explore a haunted house?
You go right ahead. I'm heading for Towster's Tower. I got a bad feeling.
Stay on mission. Stay on mission. Okay. All right. Let's head to
If
the
you want to
tower.
go, you go right ahead. We'll pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tempt me. I'll do it. I'll do it. I take 2 steps away from the group.
And
I'll do it. And as they carry on, change my mind. They're gonna need me.
oh my God, you're the thief from Conan the Destroyer. All right, so I'm gonna head to Towster's Tower. I think Marin said she was coming with me,
Yep.
and Pendrick is
Killed
tagging along.
there,
Kildirk. That's right, Kildirk. Sorry, I screwed your
leading the
name
way
up,
from
dude.
the back. I'm not tagging along. I lead the way from the back.
All right.
Okay. You make your way to the tower, and it's probably a 3-4 story tower at most. Why do wizards always live in towers? But it's like a 3 or 4 story tower. It's got a big oak door on the front, and when you pound on the door, you'd expect you see the slat for somebody to open it up. It's probably about the 5.5-ish foot area. But a smaller one lower down the door opens up, and who is you?
You Towster?
Who sent you? Wasn't the Wizard Guild?
We're actually here looking. No, we're here looking for Jelenth.
No. And the slat shuts and door opens, and you see this little 5'2", 5'3" old man, probably in his 70s. No stereotypical wizard beard. And he's got his hair pulled back. He's got long, stringy white hair. He's wearing your typical wizard robes. These ones are blue and purple, and it's got a little bit of yellow in the trim. And it's like, no, I haven't seen Jelenth. Most people don't come here looking for her. Are you sure that the Invokers Guild didn't send you?
Be Towster.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, look, we've got this for you. I hand them
Yes,
the
we
package
also-
we're supposed to deliver to them.
The chest.
Oh, yes. And he immediately gets a smile on his face. He takes the chest. He's like, Orsi sent you.
Yes, Orsi sent us.
The man's devoid of manners, but he delivers when you ask for things to be sent. And
I slap the promissory note on top of it.
Yes. I know you want to get paid too.
At first.
Takes it out, looks through it. And he cracks open the box, looks in there, and he signs off on it. He's like, okay, you can give that to the Squire Marlin, and he'll give you the money that you were promised on this note. His house is over that way. And he points off to the west to a nice-ish looking house. Well, nice for this area. Everything here is either mud hut with thatched roof or poor wood construction with thatched roof. This is decent wood house with wood shingled roof and stone chimney. Yeah.
Squire Marlin knows how to live.
Oh, he's a
I don't like
parfley.
him.
He's a parfley. Parfleys run the town, so he's going to spend his money where he can, and can't fault the guy for wanting to live in a nice place. Wish they'd do something about those abandoned houses, the outskirts.
Yeah, what's going on with those abandoned houses?
Oh, there was a war with the lizard men from the Myers about, had to be 40, 50 years ago at this point. And ever since then, certain areas have just not been producing wood. We had people move out for that reason. And, mainly logging's one of the big things that these guys do around here, along with fishing. But the wood isn't really all that good, to be honest with you. It's okay, but it's nothing that we're going to ship out and make a lot of money on. So people have been leaving, looking for better opportunities, and they just leave their houses to rot like that. And so sad.
And who knows what they left behind? And I nudge my companions. Adventure.
And he kind of he kind of chuckles under his breath and goes, yeah, anything that they left behind has been long picked over by the wharf rats and sold off by now.
I hate wharf rats almost as much as I hate hoity-toity Squire Marlins.
Well, if you hate wharf rats, you're in the wrong town, because this is a town full of wharf rats. So I'd be careful in where you say that.
Well, I just said it here because you don't look like a wharf rat. You look like a wizard.
Well,
A
anyway.
wizard with class and style.
Anyway, you mentioned Jelenth. Why are you here looking
Yeah.
for her? She's not due back here for a couple weeks, and like I said, nobody comes here looking for my apprentice.
She's gone missing.
And
Show him the spell pouch.
he gets he takes a pretty concerned look. He gets a pretty concerned look on his face. Like, this actually, seems to be bothering him pretty well. He invites you in, and where'd you get that there pouch?
She
Her
left it in a
room.
room when she left to see you.
Oh, that girl shouldn't be leaving her spell pouch behind if she's coming down here to study. She knows better than that. These
She
things
also
don't
left
just...
an entire room full of clothes.
Like I said, she shouldn't be here for another 2 weeks. So that's... This is perplexing.
Isn't it, though?
You're a wizard. Do you have a way to scry for her?
Oh, we don't scry. The Invokers Guild might find out where I am. We don't scry.
I understand.
You
Trying to think of a way we could try to track her down.
You get this feeling like it's not even a feeling. You could just tell he is paranoid about the Invokers Guild.
I was gonna say, do we know anything about that, or is it is it something we would logically ask about since we don't know about it?
You don't know anything about it. I mean, you could ask about it if it's weirding you out, but it's not something that's common knowledge.
Okay. What is this Invokers Guild that you keep mentioning?
I used to be a member of the Invokers Guild, but there was this falling out between me and the guild leader, and he's had it out for me ever since. That's when I moved down here 15 years ago to this God's forsaken backwater town. Ugh. You think I like living out here? Not one decent library. Heck, I don't think half these people can even read. But
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
But I am concerned about Jelenth. I'll tell you what. Yes, if there was a way we can scry for her, check and find her. I don't have... I can't scry. In fact, that's not even part of my spell repertoire. I throw a fireball here and there. More of the flashy type of spellcaster. I was quite the flashy person back in my youth. But you are in an area that's blessed with many rangers. And he goes over to his desk and he starts scrawling out something on a note. And he hands it to anybody. It just holds it out. This is a letter of introduction.
I'll take
it. Okay, perfect. This is a letter of introduction to Kuiper. In fact, you probably passed by Kuiper's farm on your way here. You just probably didn't notice it because, well, Kuiper's a ranger. You know how them rangers can be in the woods. Sneaky, sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
So here's what I'll do. I want Jelenth found just probably more than her parents and that insufferable Bart want her found. I have years of investment in her, turn her into a proper wizard. So, give this to Kuiper, and if you're able to find her, I'll give you 50 gold each. And he
Ooh.
Understood.
50 gold.
50
Oh,
gold.
man.
And then he scrolls out another piece of on another piece of paper. He kind of does a haphazard map. And he's like, and this is how you get to Kuiper's farm. But it's late. You guys are probably hungry. You want to get paid for delivering that box of components. Thing is, Squire Marlin ain't going to deal with you tonight because it's late. He doesn't do this stuff at this hour. So, why don't you guys go over, and he tosses you 1 gold coin. He's like, and get yourselves some rooms over at the tavern up the Hound and Tails, it's called, up at the north end of town. Don't eat the food.
Understood.
That
So-
bad, huh?
It is, for lack of a better word, wretched. Wretched.
Oh, I was going to say rancid.
No, wretched. Rancid implies that it was once good. Wretched implies that all you could do is retch when looking at it.
So, like, revolting.
That's a
Thank you
good
for the
word.
warning.
Very much.
So is Bran fairly large?
Me, I'm just this side of 6 foot, and pretty decently built.
So you look kind of grizzled and angry, like nobody would want to mess with you.
Kind of.
All right, I hand you the promissory note that's already been signed. All right, here, hang on to this.
Okay.
That's smart.
Tuck it away into my
Less
belt
likely to be-
pouch.
People less likely to mess with him. Sure.
See, I always have your best interest at heart.
I
Calm
guess
down,
it's
man.
another night of rations, but at least we'll have a room.
Oh, that reminds me, we've traveled for what, 3 days so far, or is it 4 days in total we've traveled?
Let's round it up to 4, so that's 2, 4, 6 hit points back. I'm gonna give you
nice.
them even though you weren't doing complete bed rest. But we're gonna go with that for this time period.
Okay.
All right, and
I will be a forgiving GM.
so dry rations. I am now at
Yum.
3 days worth of dried rations remaining. I gotta find a place to get some new rations up in here. But anyway,
yeah. Does it look like I could do any decent hunting out in the woods here, or is that kind of dicey?
So you did notice the deer. There, so you know there's deer in the area. Also, the wooded area seemed pretty nice. There's the river. You did hear from Tauster and some other people when you were doing your around towns that fishing is one of the things that people do to make money here. And the woods, you could guess, probably have some foodstuffs and decent hunting in the area. I mean, if there's deer, there's probably other things out there as well.
Are those abandoned houses anywhere near the forest?
No.
Like the tree line?
No.
Dang.
Well, fish. You want game? Marin? Kilber? What do you guys want?
Either's fine.
Fish is good, and it's less labor intensive.
And closer.
Okay, so Yeah, I'll head down to the docks, see if I can get us a few fish.
Okay. Do you have the fishing skill?
I was going to see if I could barter for them
Oh, okay.
from one of the fishermen.
All right. Yeah, that's actually quite easy to do, honestly. One of the guys who does what would pass for commercial fishing is just bringing his barge in now. And he's got some river eel and a couple maybe perch in some of the baskets.
Okay.
And he's willing to sell some to you. I mean, this is what he does for a living, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take some perch.
All right. Let's say 1 copper apiece.
Give me
Slap a
6 of them.
fistful
then.
of eel in there too.
Freshwater eels are really good. That's going to be 2 copper.
Oh, buddy. Give me 4. Oh, yeah, give me 4.
He shells them over.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Thank you much, sir.
You have a fantastic rest of your day, sir.
You too. All right, let's find a place where we can set up a small campfire, and how about I cook up some dinner?
You know, there are those abandoned houses just outside of town where you probably camp out right next to them and nobody would mind.
I am not setting up camp next to an abandoned house. It's called a fire hazard.
It's called adventurous spirit, which you have none of. That's fine.
Oh,
That's fine.
Oh, I've got plenty of adventurous spirit. Just kind of makes sense.
Go to the abandoned houses. Let's go.
That didn't work on me when I was 8. It's not going to work on me now.
All right.
So,
Find your
do we want to
spot.
stay at the tavern here?
I mean,
So,
I'm
well,
open to whatever.
Okay.
He did give us a piece of gold, but I mean, that could always go into the group fund.
It does make it easier to get to the squire's house in the morning if we're staying in town.
Mhm.
That's true. We're also
what I
probably
was
less
thinking.
likely to be
Closer.
robbed.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We've been
So,
camping out for the
uh,
last 3 days,
Yeah.
It's nice to have a door
True.
for a night.
Ooh, I
So-
wonder if they have a bat.
Does it look like it'd be okay if I set up like a little campfire, do some cooking outside, like farther away from the tavern?
Yeah. I don't say why
Okay,
not.
I'm gonna. Yeah, like across the road on the western side of town
Okay.
from the tavern. I don't want to step on any tavern toes, and I'll cook up the fish and the eel for us before we go in to get a room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Easy peasy.
Take a little stroll around
Okay.
town while things are getting cooked to see what's what.
There ain't nothing up. That's what's up.
This place is awesome.
Your best guess is that there are less than 100 people that call this place home.
It was probably about 120 when those houses out there were occupied. I wonder what those 20 people left behind. Anyway, enough of my hopes and dreams. How's the eel coming along?
Great, and all they left behind was poverty and regret. Have a seat. Grab your plate. We're about ready to eat.
Oh, yeah, regret and poverty. All right. Hey, everybody, help yourselves to some of this eel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So we'll go ahead and eat and
Eat and get a room.
yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else really want to do in town tonight, but I have a feeling this is the kind of town that shuts down at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Looks that way.
Yeah, that'd be a fair assessment. That would be fair.
Okay, so we'll eat. We'll grab a room.
All right.
Do we need to be marking off rations for the days of travel that we've been traveling, or have we been providing for ourselves as we go?
I don't know. Have you been providing for yourselves as you go?
Nope, I counted it as rations for me at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
That's
counting
fine.
rations.
I would have to. I have no skills in that area, so.
It's okay. The next time we go out, I'll do a little more hunting for us. Supplement it.
Okay. Then eventually going to need to restock because I'm getting pretty low. I only bought 1 week's worth.
Well, it's okay. Once we cash in with Squire Marlin over here,
Yes. Then
should-
that will
we
be
should
easier
replenish.
to do. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So Deck and Lymphere, are they tagging along in the background, or did they catch a barge and leave the night we got to the Milton or whatever that town was?
I am going to say that these two stayed back at Milborne.
Okay.
You guys had gone over to talk to Garland while they had initially made their way into the Baron of Mutton. You guys met back up at the Baron of Mutton, and they just decided to stay there in case Jelenth popped up in town while you guys headed down here to get payment. They trust you. Y'all have been working together
Okay.
a little bit of time, so they
Okay.
don't think that you're going to rip them off. Besides, Bran and Marin are there, and they definitely know they can trust you two with the money.
Exactly.
I would never ever betray anybody over something as common as money.
You said that with a straight face. I'm impressed.
Uh-huh. Sure did.
Going into the Hound and Tails, the only place to get a room here in town, this is a depressing affair. I mean, think old shantytown dive bar.
Oh,
There's
Mhm.
there are oil lanterns that are providing light. It's not a lot of light. The atmosphere is dreary. It smells like dock workers, fishermen. Like, this place has a smell to it. It's got 3 waitresses who I'm trying to think of a better explanation of what's in the book because I don't really like that explanation. They say that they're saucy. Think,
oh my God.
they're think the
Do you call them
50
wharf lizards?
Not quite, but okay. Think if Snooki from the Jersey Shore was 50 years old and still thought she was 20.
So in the Jersey Shore.
Yes, like, you know
Used
what?
to bar-
Snooki from South Park, but human.
I used to bartend for people like that. Oh God.
Me too. And the landlord / innkeeper here, his name's Weismar, and he is a middle-aged, sad-looking man. Like, he is, you could tell he is just scraping by, and the day-to-day necessities to run the Hound and Tails have sucked every last bit of joy out of him. He is a joyless looking fellow. He sets you up with some rooms. You don't have your choice. You can either stay in the communal room, which looks like a bunch of bunk beds that don't have mattresses, just wood planks with a blanket, and some straw kind of put on top of it. Or there's some okay-ish rooms, and I mean okay-ish by this place's standard. The straw has a sheet over top of it, so you're not sleeping directly on the straw, and it has another blanket on top of that.
Let's not sleep in the common area. Delousing doesn't seem like very fun.
I'm
No.
gonna be completely honest with you. I'm thinking I'm not even gonna sleep in the damn tavern, in the inn.
Yeah, okay.
Camping outside of town is looking more and more appealing. Gotta say.
Yeah.
We could always sleep behind Squire Marlin's place. I mean, they probably wouldn't notice us, right?
I think out of anyone in this town,
out there.
he'd be the one to notice. He'd be the one to notice. Anywhere else, we'd probably be okay.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
I just got a feeling that if we stayed here, we'd have to go see a cleric the next morning for cure whatever we picked up.
yeah, and I saw no
Good point.
temples here.
Good point, dear. You solid on that one.
I prefer not to use up all of my energies first thing in the morning, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna turn around, thank the barkeep, and head back outside to camp outside. I got a bad feeling.
He doesn't even really register. He's just okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I will add
Well,
that
all right,
one
then.
gold back to the group fund.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I know a bed would have felt good, but I barely qualify that as a bed.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Pretty sure the grass is a lot more comfortable than that hay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
And
find a
let's-
nice little place. Go ahead.
Less likely to have creepy crawlies.
Yeah.
As I step on
So-
a centipede.
Go ahead and set up a camp just north of the Squire's house.
Okay. So you set up a tent. Nobody really accosts you. You make it through the night quite easily. No muss, no fuss. Morning comes around, and I'm assuming the first place you go is to the Squire Marlin's front door.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
before the sun's even up, I'm waking these people up. Hey, we gotta go get paid.
So you knock on the door, and there's a common theme going on here. Aging population, declining population. This is another older gentleman. Rake thin. Like, he is thin. Probably in his early 60s from the best of your looks, best of your guess. About 5'5", wearing pretty nice clothes, actually. You can tell that he's probably passes for, you're guessing he's probably passing for what's nobility in town. And as he makes his way outside, the only 3 kids that you've seen the entire time it being in town see him, and they mock the way that he walks and moves, because he kind of has a little bit of shake to him. Like, he's not the steadiest person on his feet. And the kids mock him, tease him a little bit, and then run off. Some of the adults, they see him come outside, they sneer and walk away. You get the impression he's not very well liked. But looks you up and down. I don't recognize you folks. Do we have business? Something I can help you with?
We do.
Oh,
I'll pull out the I'll pull out the letter. We're here to get paid, Squire.
He takes a look through it, reads it, taking his time, looks up over it, you a couple times, going through the process, and okay. Everything appears to be in order. We got Orsi's signature. Ugh, Orsi. Ugh. And we got Tauster's signature. Okay. And he reaches into his belt pouch and he pulls out a sack and drops it in your hands. This should cover it. And that would be your 180.
Is it 150?
It was 100.
100.
I'm going to say it was 180. Because you guys passed your...
Okay.
Right? You guys passed your charisma check the first time around? I have it here that you did.
Yeah, I thought that brought us up to 150.
No, 150 was the start.
Yeah, it was 150, and he gave us 5 each, like, right then and there to get supplies.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's the way we went. So it's 150 for the group then. My bad.
All
Mm.
right. So that is. Now we have 165 gold pieces and 42 silver pieces for the group, minus 1 promissory note. Okay.
Nice.
And we'll split this up and we all get back together. In the meantime, I shall hold on to all of this money.
Okay.
All right. And as we're getting paid, Squire Marlin, have you heard of this gentleman named
Coop?
Cooper? Coop?
Cooper the
Cooper.
ranger?
That's him.
Yeah, Cooper's pretty well known here. He has he runs a farm just off the Hogbrook on the way about halfway to Milborne.
Decent enough fellow?
Fine, upstanding gentleman.
I'll take your word for it, as you seem to be one yourself. Thank you very much for your prompt payment, sir.
He
I won't
gets,
forget this.
he straightens his, jacket out and has this look of, you made him happy. He gets a smile and winks at you and goes, somebody understands and recognizes a good person when they see one. I like that.
Commerce is key, my friend.
And he's going to go and make his way doing his rounds throughout town at this point.
See that? You just gotta talk the language. Oh, we gotta get some food for the road, guys.
Yeah, we do. I'll tell you what. When we go pick up some rations, I think we ought to go look up this Kuiper.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so how much do rations go for?
Well, that is going to be in the journaling section.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 10 gold pieces standard for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Journal.
Sounds about right anyway.
Means unless I get something out of the group fund, I don't have enough to buy more rations right now. So
Dry
we can all
rations,
take a percentage of the group fund.
Yeah, 10 GP per week for dry rations.
All right, I'll go
Sounds good.
handle that. Marin, you need some bran? Yeah? No?
I'll tell you what, grab me another week's worth.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, 1 week to everybody?
yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, just so we're clear, Marin, you are now minus 10 gold pieces from the group fund. Bran, you as well, and myself as well. I keep
Okay.
I write it down in like a little ledger in like my own shorthand that nobody else would
Cool.
understand.
All right.
Okay. You find the shop.
See Kildare scratch out his 10 gold pieces and then write it back down at 10. Okay, yeah, no, I'll stay minus 10. Okay.
The shop's pretty easy to find. You noticed it when you went to go purchase the fish last night over by the dock. It's run by a gentleman named Barnabas, and he sells things for the standard prices that you'll find in the shop page that I have in the journal. And he's gonna have most of the stuff in the household provisions area, but he's not a particularly well-stocked store. He will, however, be able to provide you your dry rations. And these things are kind of like localized items. I apologize if you can hear the jet. It's nonstop over here. But kind of localized dry rations. So things like dried river eel with different herbs and other things wrapped inside of them. So the eels, it's kind of like an herb sandwich that uses the eel as bread. And then other things like, what do I want to call it? Like hard breads, kind of, it's like a thick, hard cracker.
Like hardtack.
Yeah.
Hardtack.
Yes. That's it right
Okay.
there. So he does have that in stock. And he eagerly sells
Does he
it.
have Does he have any way to like refill a water skin or filled water skins? Wine skins, I guess.
He can sell you. If you want to, you ask him about filling the water skins, and he kind of just points
Points
over.
to the river.
Yeah, at the river. And he's like, "There's water over there. You mean I could sell you water? You'll pay for water?"
I think I'll get it out of the river. Thanks.
Maybe I should start selling water.
What about a lightly intoxicating wine? Something that's not too powerful.
The closest thing that he's going to have to that is going to be a very weak ale.
That should probably keep. No, I'm not gonna do it. My cheekbone.
You're not in.
Oh,
You're not in a very cosmopolitan area.
I know.
It's a weak, stale ale.
Yeah, I think I'll stay away from the Thurmaster stale ale. No TSAs from me. But does he have any random, just like daggers or anything laying around? I could use an extra one.
He's gonna have a couple knives. Not exactly like war daggers, but he'll have knives, which will pass as a dagger. Same stats. They're 2 gold apiece.
Yeah, I'll dip into my personal fund and get one more dagger. I need another one. I have that backup.
Okay.
All right. Other than that, I'm done shopping.
Same here.
All right. Everybody make sure you have your extra 7 days of rations written down.
Okay. And we did determine a week is 7 days. Just want to make sure.
7 days a week.
Lovely.
We're gonna keep things easy.
So I have 10 days worth now. That's great. All right.
Come on, you mean you don't want to use the Forgotten Realms 10-day week?
No, I do not like working in 10 days. I don't know why. Like, it should theoretically be easier, but the 10-day is actually harder for me to keep track of than a 7-day. I don't get it. I know.
It's been culturally ingrained in you.
Yeah. I wish we could just switch to a 10-day in real life. But actually, part of me doesn't want to do that. Could you imagine having to wait 10 days for a weekend, 8 days for a weekend? Ugh.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a corporate dream.
Right. Anyway, shopping done. Heading out of town. Yay, nay.
I'm yay.
Yeah,
Yay.
Okay.
I'm all for
Go
looking
get
for
this
Kuiper.
Cooper guy.
All right. So, again, it's a fairly uneventful walk through along the Churnet River, through the Redwood, to the Hogbrook, where Kuiper's farm is going to be. Let me activate this scene again. Pull everybody.
How many days is that? Like day and a half?
Day
2
and a
days?
half. Day and a half ish. Pull user to scene. If we say
Is our
here,
ranger hunting for us?
it's 15 feet on my map. And 5 feet, 10 feet for 10 miles. 15. Yeah, about 2 days. Half a day. 2 days. About 3 days. It's halfway there, so it's a day and a half. Yeah, day and a half. Sorry, I'm doing terrible math here. See, Kara doesn't like triangle math for figuring out distances for flying people. I don't like doing line math for figuring out how far someplace is.
Apparently, I don't need to be doing it anyway, so there we go.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So you make it over to the map. You follow the map. You're hitting right up to the Hogbrook. and you see the pathway on the map that leads into Kuiper's farm. And this is a small farmstead out in the middle of the woods. It's got a stable with a single horse in it. There's a couple cows, some pigs and goats. He's got ducks and chickens and small farmhouse as well. You can see Kuiper work in the field. He's, again, another human. This place is predominantly populated by humans. Although he's a bit younger. He's in his early to mid-20s. And he's pretty decently tall, about 5'7", 5'9", if I remember right. Let me look this up. He's probably going to be, say, 6 feet. It doesn't...
6'11".
6'4".
Man.
He is 6'4". I was way off on that.
He is huge.
Yeah, he is a big, stocky man. 6'4", black hair, and he does have a high strength score. So to give you just an idea of how big he is, his strength is a 16. So he is a...
Same as mine. So he and I are... He's built like me.
Yeah, he's a rather large individual. But he's got the kindest look on his face, though. He's really nice. He notices you walking up the path, and he stops what he's doing, walks out to you, gives you each a bone-crushing handshake with a smile, and introduces himself as Kuiper. And this is where I want to do a check-in. All right, so we are at 1 hour and 40 minutes. If this makes a good stopping point, to be honest. Because going on from here, there is actually there's combat. And one of them is kind of like, it's a bigger one. It's a bigger combat, I'm not going to lie. Lots of enemies.
It's consequential.
It's consequential. There is something that, depending if you win, there's something that happens. Depending if you lose, there's something that happens. The beginning part of this game has quite a few ripcords in place to prevent TPKs, which I like.
Sure.
Those go away as time goes, but the beginning part has some ripcords in place. So there's something that'll happen depending on what happens with these combats. And this could be a good place for Lemphir and Deck to also meet back up with the party, as they could have left Milborne to meet up with you as you were leaving Thurmaster, and you guys kind of meet in the middle.
Meet on the road.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
that was going to be my question. Is
it
it going to be hard for you to start with a split party? But that works great for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So, there was no combat. There was no skill usages. This was kind of like a gazetteer day where you got to meet some NPCs and do some role playing. Typically, there's no experience for this type of thing, but I am a kind DM and I like to give some experience out for every session anyway. So I'm just going to give everybody, even the people that were missing, a flat 200 experience just for the session. Like I said, I like to give people something, that way days aren't just wasted. And I don't feel like doing the GP value just for the chest alone, which would be a shared amount let me just grab a calculator. So grand total of 200, and we're going to make sure that the other folks get their experience from this as well. Why is my phone being a pill right now? Doesn't want to open. All right, I don't get
My
it.
wife and my phone have been doing the same thing.
Yeah, Samsung had an update and it is not been the best. There's 4 or 5 of you. So 230 in total, because I'm going to give you that 150 divided by 4 for the gold piece value. And that is where we will cut it for tonight.
How about all three?
Okay.
333 experience. What's up?
Okay.